Thank you, Chair. Secretary of State, you referred to some of your exchanges in your current role with Michel Barnier and his recall of his personal involvement in the Northern Ireland situation and the cross-border peace programmes. As Minister of Finance and then as Deputy First Minister in Northern Ireland, I negotiated with him and his officials on those things, and I'm aware that he is a man of particularisms.
I may have a job for you as an advisor, Mr. Durkan.
But given that he has volunteered both publicly and in his meetings with you, the fact that he has some emotional investment in that, has it occurred to the UK government that maybe this wording that is often argued about in Article 50 about taking account of the framework for its future relationship with the Union might offer a case for saying early on in these exchanges to Michel Barnier that we would want the future framework or the framework for the future relationship with the Union and the UK to specifically have as named features both the Common Travel Area and the Belfast Agreement?
Sounds to me quite a good idea. I mean, I haven't considered it in detail yet, but I would expect, frankly, I mean, whether it's named or whether it's implicit, I mean, the Common Travel Area, as far as I'm concerned, bluntly, it's non-negotiable. We've got to have it. And the Belfast Agreement, I think the components of that ditto. But I'll happily look at that. The specific you asked.
Because I know what you've said about your wider task of a deal. You said that the deal is unique and the approach we take to it is unique too. So of course there could be a unique Irish dimension within that deal, particularly as far as the framework for the future relationship.
Were it not for that emotional investment, I would view this as a difficulty, because the European Union will not like having a separate relationship. But I think actually we've got a decent chance.
Yeah. And in one of his first public statements, he seemed to indicate that he was open to the possibility of some continuity of some of the special EU funding that attached to the peace process continuing beyond Brexit as well. In terms of building towards those sorts of possibilities, what weight can you indicate the British government give to the point that the Taoiseach has made, both in Ireland and in Brussels on the 23rd of last month, that the Irish government would want to see the specific consent provisions of the Good Friday Agreement reflected directly in a new UK-EU treaty?
Right, I'm going to need to read that out properly, Mr. Durkan. I can't give you an instant answer to that. It sounds to me like I'm going to be in the same place as you, but I need to be very careful.
If the Taoiseach is able to say that on behalf of the Irish government as co-guarantors of the Good Friday Agreement, why are the British government
I don't see an intrinsic problem, but I would need to just check with the Northern Ireland Secretary that he's comfortable with me saying that. But I don't see a problem.
Yeah, because it is important in circumstances where people are quoting the Barroso Doctrine in relation to various things. You can appreciate the importance from an Irish nationalist and constitutional.
My hesitation is only formal. It's not substantial.
That's what?
I said my hesitation is only formal. I've got to do my check with the Northern Ireland Secretary first, but that'll be fine. I'm sure I can get back to you today.
Do you accept that after Brexit, if the Good Friday Agreement is properly reflected in the future relations between the EU and the UK, that Northern Ireland is one part of the UK that could elect to rejoin the EU without requiring an Article 49 negotiation?
Not while it's a member of the United Kingdom, no.
Under the consent provisions of the Good Friday Agreement?
That's exactly why I need to talk to the Northern Ireland Secretary. I'll come back to you on that.
Yeah,
I don't. I really. I mean, you're dealing in very delicate areas. Quite right, and I will come back to you with a formal decision today, formal argument today, right? Formal response today.
Well, as well as that being one point of differentiation between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom, that it could, because of the Good Friday Agreement, be one area of the UK that could rejoin the EU without requiring an Article 49 negotiation. There is another point of difference as well, which is Northern Ireland is the only part of the United Kingdom where people by birth will be able to declare themselves to be citizens of a member state of the EU. Do you...
Because of the passport arrangement between the two, exactly.
Yeah, not just because of the passport arrangement, because of the Good Friday Agreement.
Yes, of course.
Because of the Good Friday Agreement.
Yeah, both.
It's because of the Good Friday Agreement. Are you comfortable with that being reflected, that also being reflected explicitly in any new agreement between the EU and the UK?
I don't have any problem with that. I mean, the effective dual nature there seems to be something we've recognised already. But again, I'll give you a formal response to all of this, I think.
And then a further point, of course, is because of the Good Friday Agreement, we have Strand 2 provisions, which are north-south. And we also, of course, have very important Strand 3 provisions, east-west, that have been underused and underdeveloped. In my view, both strands have been since the agreement. But given that many people recognise that there are going to be issues and implications for the institutions of the agreement as a result of Brexit, are the British government open to using the ambit of Strand 2 as a means of answering some of the problems that will arise in terms of dealing with issues on a north-south basis and a cross-border basis?
Yeah, I literally, Mr. Durkan, I don't want to be difficult with you, but I'm going to have to give you a formal response to all of this rather than just off the cuff. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm conscious of how important this is in Northern Ireland. I'm conscious that I do not want to trample across what the...
It surprises me that in circumstances where we've been treated to the constant refrains about trying to avoid a hard border, and the common travel area and the lip service to the Good Friday Agreement, that more thought or attention hasn't been given to these things, because we have raised these things consistently with the Northern Ireland Secretary of State and others. Yeah. So, and this it's surprising.
I understand
these
but this is a whole of government exercise, and I am not an expert in that area, and I will make sure that we get proper responses to you. It won't take them more than a day.
Well, you're saying you're going to look at these things. Can I ask you then, when you are looking at these things, to consider constructively that the agreement could actually provide a toolkit for answering a number of the problems and the challenges that Brexit will bring, for handling things on a cross-border basis, and also for managing the future relationship on an east-west basis as well, not just as between London and Dublin, but also the respective devolved administrations and the south and the other island administrations.
That's interesting. Okay, thank you for that.
Okay.